Just got that. Really?
We are back here at the WBA Convention, second day of this podcast. We're going to have some great guests for you today, including former world champions, and one's joining us right now who's actually, performing, I would say, some double duty here. He's here as a former world champion, but more importantly, he's here as a representative of the WBA, the baby bull, Juan Diaz. Juan, what's happening?
Thank you for having me, guys. I'm very excited. I'm happy to be here and let the fans hear my voice once again. I disappeared from the sport of boxing for a little while, but I'm back now. Not as a boxer, but as a representative of an ambassador of the WBA.
So this weekend, what's kind of like your role? I know you've seen you at a lot of fights. What's your role for the convention this weekend?
Well, my role is to help out in any way, form, fashion that I can. That could be from helping people, introducing them to the WBA, welcoming them in Orlando, to sitting in board meetings and kind of hearing out and giving my opinion on what fighters feel and think about the organization.
So just before we went on the air, you asked me a question. 10-0 Texans, 3 minutes into the game.
Oh, that's amazing.
Already
amazing.
10, already 10-0.
Thank you for that update.
Yeah, so if I get any updates by looking at my computer, I'll let you know.
Come on now, we got some naysayers over here in the building, but it's okay though. My Texans are going to do what they do.
Our esteemed director producer John Musiones is a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. They're in the same division, so
we got them. That's not a problem.
So
I'm not worried.
So, when you're at a fight now, what kind of is your role at the fights now? I remember
yes.
we just got done talking. I remember I was seeing you the week of Canelo and Crawford, and me and you were lost in that Fontainebleau Hotel. We couldn't find out where anything was going on. We were walking all over the place.
That's right. So my role with the WBA as of right now is supervisor.
Okay.
Supervisor of some of the championship fights, the Continental North American belt, wherever they need me to be. My assignment for that week, then I'm there.
Being on the sanctioning body side of it, for the longest time you're on the fighter side of it. What do you kind of? I know sometimes the fighters they kind of don't understand some of the rules and regulations of the sanctioning body. Now, did you kind of get it from where the sanctioning bodies are coming from? Did you ever question some of those things about the WBA, WBC, whatever ones while you were a fighter?
Right.
Now you kind of understand it from the WBA's perspective.
I was one of the fighters that never questioned the sanctioning fees, never questioned what the organizations did. My role was to get in there and fight, and I let my manager and the lawyers, the suits do their thing. I did my thing in the ring, and in my day back when I was fighting, winning a championship belt, like the WBA was an honor to fight and an honor to pay that sanctioning fee because you're fighting champions from all over the world. And now I didn't really understand what that meant, but now that I am part of the WBA, then they do a lot more than we fighters think they do. They don't just take the percentage and that money and keep it to themselves. It's a world organization. For example, when I became world champion in 2004, I fought Laf Kasim from Mongolia. Mongolia, right? So that made me a world champion. He came here. My second title, Acelino Freitas, from Brazil. So I fought guys from all over the world. I didn't just fight guys here in the U.S. And now I understand that these sanctioning bodies, they have people that work all over the world to make this happen.
And they call these sanctioning bodies, political stuff, whatever. I remember when you were a fighter at the tail end, I know you wanted to go to law school and so forth. So this kind of marries kind of two passions of yours, boxing and kind of regulatory stuff, which I know obviously at one time or probably still does interest you.
Yeah, it does interest me. I got accepted into law school, Dartmouth School of Law. Can you believe that? but I deferred for a year. I opened up my own business, my own trucking company. Now I have a successful trucking company, 60 plus
Oh,
trucks
wow.
in Houston that run all over the country, right? So then I said to myself, well, instead of being a lawyer, I just hire the
Yeah,
lawyers. So instead of, I mean, I could have spent 4, 5, 6 years in law school, but I say, you know what, the trucking company is making money, so let's do that. And moving forward, seeing all the rules and regulations that the sanctioning body like the WBA puts on for these fighters is amazing. It's amazing to see, and I'm just in awe with everything that they do.
looking at the fight game today, you haven't been tired. You haven't been retired too long. You're still a young man. What changes have you seen in the fight game, the business, from when you were a fighter? Like I said, I mean, you only retired the past 10 years, I would say, right?
8
8 years.
8 years.
Well, within the past 10 years.
Yeah, within, yeah, that's right. So what I've seen now is that fighters nowadays, they want to make all the money, they want the glory, but they don't want to put in the work. And when I say put in the work, they want to fight for the money. They're worried about how many social media followers they have. Everything they do nowadays, they post on social media. They're trying to get followers, gain followers. And I think it's more now for the attention than it is for the glory, for the passion of being a champion. Back in my day, I didn't have no social media. I believe I got my first Facebook account back in 2013, and I think that was after the Marcus fight, and it's towards the end of my career when I got a social media account. So I don't like it. I don't like the fact that these fighters are more interested in their social media numbers than they are in going in the ring and fighting. That's the biggest change that I see with boxers these days.
It's kind of like, I don't want to say piss you off, but kind of like, come on, guys, let's
They just fight. Let's
Yeah.
just fight. Let's just fight. And I think that leads on to some of these promoters not making the biggest fights and not working together, because it all starts with the fighter. If the fighter doesn't want to put in the effort, to train, to be a world champion, and to fight the best, I mean, everything's all about numbers now. Who's gonna pay me the most money to fight this guy? And the money will come if you fight, if you train and you fight the fighters and you beat those legitimate fighters. The money will come.
And you fought a lot of good quality fighters yourself.
I did.
You had some memorable fights in there. A couple fights with Malinaji.
Yeah.
Here, I'm gonna really piss you off to our director. Not only is he a Jaguars fan, they're up 14-0. His good friend is Nate Campbell too. So.
Oh my goodness! Yeah. That, yeah, that is like putting a dagger through my heart.
That's his good buddy. He's a Jacksonville guy, so.
I can say there was it hurts when you lose, right?
Of course.
But the first loss, to lose all 3 titles that I had on the line, that's the worst. I've lost to Malinaji, I lost to Marquez, and yes, they hurt, but it's nothing like the first. Like the first time, I guess when you fall in love for the first time and that girl breaks your heart, you remember her for the rest of your life, And that's how I felt with Nate Campbell. When I lost that fight, it's just, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And still to this day, it breaks my heart. But, hey, such is life, and you got to move on.
42-4, 21 knockouts. What was the most memorable fight? I guess winning that first world title was maybe the most memorable fight for you, or?
There's 2.
Okay.
There's 2. There's, yes, winning the first world title, but the second one is going to be the first fight against Juan Marquez. Me being in the Toyota Center, 18,000 plus people, banging their feet, stomping their feet on the floor. I tell you, this is the first time that I got goosebumps when I was in the ring. Right before the bell rang, I got goosebumps. My knees buckled. I mean, it was an incredible feeling.
If I remember correctly, that fight was a toe-to-toe war, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, toe-to-toe war.
for fans where we call that fun fights. It's a fun fight. Is it fun for the fighter?
Absolutely.
Is it really?
For me, that's the type of fight.
Even though you're getting hit a lot, you're hitting him a lot, he's hitting you a lot. That's fun for you guys.
Yeah, it's the adrenaline. And it's not about taking punches or giving punches. It's about who's the better man. Who's the better man that day, that night, in that moment. That's what it's all about. I grew up watching all the great fights. I mean, I came up under Arturo Gotti, when he was our main event.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the Gotti war fights. I mean, oh my goodness. Then the Morales versus Barrera. Those are the type of fights that I dreamed of being in, and I was.
We talked about the Campbell fight, which was, you said the dagger in your heart. Another war, Michael Katsidis. That was one of those fights where you guys just stood in the ring and,
right.
Basically you hit each other with everything. And again,
with the kitchen sink.
With the kitchen sink. Again. I mean, it felt better because